It's 6 in the morning. Most people haven't had coffee yet, but an electrician is already driving to a job site, blueprints on the passenger seat and tools in the back. The building is half framed, bare studs, concrete floors, no lights yet. Before any of those lights turn on, someone has to run the wire, pull the conduit, connect every circuit, and make sure none of it kills anyone. That someone is an electrician. And the economics of getting to that job site, what it costs to become one, what you earn along the way, and what the work demands from your body are more interesting than most people expect. Before we follow the money, we need to understand the job itself, because most people picture an electrician replacing an outlet, and that picture is about a tenth of the reality. Electricians install, maintain, and repair electrical power, communications, lighting, and control systems across homes, businesses, factories, and construction sites. On a residential job, they might be running new wiring through walls and connecting a breaker panel. On a commercial job, they're wiring lighting systems across entire floors of an office building. In an industrial plant, they're working on motor control systems, three-phase power, and equipment that draws enough electricity to run a neighborhood. Every job is a different puzzle, and the tool that solves it depends entirely on what the puzzle is. Wire strippers, pliers, voltmeters, ammeters, thermal scanners, cable testers, these are the instruments of the trade. So are schematic diagrams, which are essentially maps of how electricity is supposed to flow through a building or a machine. Reading one correctly under time pressure while crouched in a utility room with a flashlight in your mouth is a skill that takes years to develop. Hey, it's CJ, the creator of this channel. If you want to make YouTube videos like this, then topic2video.com will handle everything for you. Input your topic and choose your video length, and a publish-ready video about your topic will come out the other side. I know it sounds simple, but it's true. Try it for free today at topic2video.com. Now back to the video. A typical workday doesn't look the way people imagine. There's no clean shop with a desk. The office is wherever you parked. You arrive, check in with the foreman or site supervisor, confirm what's on the plan for the day, and then you get to work. Some days that means crawling into a ceiling cavity to trace a fault. Some days it means standing on a ladder for 6 hours pulling wire through a steel conduit. Some days the blueprint and reality don't match, and you have to figure out why right now, because the general contractor is waiting on you to move to the next phase. Electricians work indoors and outdoors, in new construction and in buildings that are 100 years old. They commute between sites, sometimes driving long distances to reach the job. And because construction operates on schedules, overtime is common, evenings, weekends, the push to finish before an inspection. The physical demands are real and steady. Long periods of standing and kneeling wear on the body. Cramped spaces are not the exception, they're part of the routine. Add in the lifting, the carrying, and the exposure to heat, cold, dust, and fumes on outdoor or industrial sites, and the picture becomes clear. This is not a desk job, and it never will be. There's one more thing that shapes every single day on the job, and it's never far from an electrician's mind. Electricity can kill you. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts electricians at a higher than average risk of injury. Common injuries include electrical shocks, falls, and burns. Accidents are potentially fatal. That's not a disclaimer, that's a daily operating reality. Protective clothing, insulated gloves, safety glasses, and hearing protection in loud environments aren't optional. Lockout and tag-out procedures, where you physically cut power and lock the panel before touching anything live, are non-negotiable. Safety isn't a separate part of the job, it's woven into every task. An experienced electrician doesn't just know how electricity works, they know how it fails, and they've trained themselves to treat every wire as live until proven otherwise. That discipline is part of what the apprenticeship is building. Nobody walks onto a job site and becomes an electrician. The path into the trade is structured, and it's long, intentionally so. The standard route is a 4 to 5 year apprenticeship. For each year of the program, an apprentice receives roughly 2,000 hours of paid on-the-job training alongside formal classroom instruction covering electrical theory, safety practices, and the fundamentals of how systems are designed and installed. So the apprentice isn't sitting in school waiting to earn money, they are earning money while learning, which is one of the fundamental economic differences between this path and a 4-year college degree. The classroom work and the field work happen at the same time, building on each other. The theory you learn at night shows up in the panel you're wiring the next morning. By year 3 or 4, an apprentice can handle complex tasks independently. By year 5, they've accumulated enough experience that they're ready to become something else entirely. For many electricians, the apprenticeship itself is run through a union. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, commonly called the IBEW, represents roughly 860,000 active members and retirees working across electrical construction, utilities, telecommunications, manufacturing, and government. If you enter the trade through an IBEW-affiliated local union, your apprenticeship is jointly administered by the union and a contractor association. That structure shapes your pay scale, your benefits, your training, and your path to journeyman status. Not every electrician is union, and non-union contractors also train apprentices and hire skilled workers. The economics vary by region and employer, but for a large portion of the trade, the union hall is where the journey begins, and the union contract is what determines the paycheck at each stage of the ladder. After the apprenticeship ends, most states require a license before you can work independently as a journeyman electrician. The licensing exam covers electrical theory, the National Electrical Code, which is the national standard governing how electrical systems must be built in the United States, and local regulations that vary by state and municipality. Passing that exam matters because it's the gate between learning the trade and fully capitalizing on it. Before the license, you're working under supervision. After it, you can legally sign off on your own work, take on independent projects, and in many cases, bid for work on your own. Licensing also creates accountability. The code exists because electrical failures cause fires, injuries, and deaths, and a licensed electrician is the person who certifies that the work meets the standard. That responsibility is baked into the credential. Now for the question that sits behind all of this, what does it actually pay? The answer changes depending on where you are in the training ladder, where you live, and what kind of work you specialize in. Before we get into the full breakdown, a quick word from today's sponsor. As an apprentice in years 1 through 4, you're earning real money, but not journeyman wages. Typical apprentice pay ranges from around $28,000 to $38,000 a year. That's not a fortune, but it's a paycheck with no tuition bill attached, and the number climbs as you advance through each year of the apprenticeship. The scale is deliberate. The more skilled you become, the more you're paid, and there's a clear progression so everyone knows what comes next. Once you pass the licensing exam and become a journeyman, the number changes substantially. New journeymen typically start between $45,000 and $77,000 a year, depending on the state, the employer, and whether the position is union or non-union. The Bureau of Labor Statistics puts the national median for all electricians at $62,350 per year as of May 2024, which translates to roughly $30 per hour. That's meaningfully above the overall U.S. median wage, and it's earned without a college degree. For journeymen who specialize in industrial work, power plants, factories, large-scale manufacturing, the numbers go higher still. One industry estimate puts industrial journeyman pay at $34 to $38 per hour, which works out to around $85,000 a year. At that level, you're well into the upper middle range of American wages, doing hands-on technical work, and the ceiling isn't there. Master electricians, those who've completed additional experience requirements and passed a second licensing exam, regularly earn $65,000 to $85,000 and more. Business owners who've built their own electrical contracting firms can clear $75,000 to $150,000 or beyond, depending on how many crews they run and what contracts they hold. Overtime and emergency calls push the numbers further. During peak construction seasons, a journeyman working consistent overtime can add tens of thousands of dollars to their annual income. A weekend emergency call out to restore power to a commercial building pays at premium rates. The base wage is just the floor. Here's the honest version of the pay conversation. The money is real, and so is what it takes to earn it. Start with the timeline. You're committing to 4 to 5 years of apprenticeship before you reach journeyman wages. During that stretch, you're learning and earning simultaneously, but the full payoff is deferred. Some people wash out, not because they can't learn the theory, but because the physical and logistical demands of the job grind them down before they get there. The commuting alone is a hidden cost. Electricians travel to wherever the work is. Some days that's a job site 10 minutes away. Some days it's an hour each direction. The schedule doesn't always accommodate a 9-to-5 life. Evenings, weekends, and early mornings are part of the deal, especially in construction. Your body pays a different kind of tax. Years of kneeling on concrete, working in confined spaces, lifting materials, and spending long days on your feet accumulate. Electricians who work in the trade for decades often carry the physical evidence of it in their knees, shoulders, and backs. The injury risk is not theoretical. Electrical shock, burns, and falls from elevated work areas are genuine occupational hazards, and they require constant vigilance to avoid. This is the trade-off the job offers. Stable, above median income that doesn't require a college degree, but in exchange for 5 years of training, physical labor that doesn't get easier with age, and a safety environment where a single lapse in judgment can have serious consequences. The electrician who pulled into that job site at 6 in the morning didn't get there by accident. They spent years learning under journeymen who were once in the same position. They sat through classroom sessions at night after full days of physical work. They passed an exam on a code book that most people have never opened. They earned that license, and with it, the right to work at a level of pay that most college graduates spend years trying to reach. The trade is not glamorous. The days are long, the work is physical, and the hazards are genuine. But for people willing to master a real skill and handle the demands of the job, the economics are solid and the career is stable. There are more than 800,000 electricians working in the United States right now, and the Bureau of Labor Statistics projects the occupation will grow 9% through 2034, much faster than average. The reason is simple. Buildings need power, power systems need maintaining, and none of that happens on its own. Someone has to run the wire. The question is whether that someone with the right training, the right license, and the right tolerance for hard work could be earning a very good living doing it. If you found this breakdown useful, consider subscribing. We cover how money actually works across jobs, industries, and history, and there's a lot more on the way. Hey, it's CJ. Before you go, I want to tell you something personal. I worked really hard to try to make money on YouTube, and I finally found a way. This video right here was made with a tool I created called topic2video.com. I made all of the videos on this channel with this tool. It creates long-form YouTube videos from just a topic or idea. I want to help people drive traffic to their business with faceless YouTube videos. If you're serious about building a business with YouTube, I want you to try my software. Your first video is free. Go to topic2video.com and try it now. I'll see you in the next one.